Om Sarvadharmastapakatvam Sarvadharmaswarupakaha Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha. O establisher of all the faiths, embodiment of all the religions, the greatest teacher among all the teachers, O Sri Ramakrishna, my salutations to you. Namaste, Pranam. It is not good to harbor malice. That is Sri Ramakrishna's teaching in our previous sitting. That don't harbor malice against the religious opinions, against the faiths of other people. You might be following your own faith. Be steadfast on that faith. But with that understanding, with the understanding of your own faith, don't start hitting the other views. And then Sri Ramakrishna had said that the Shaktas, the Vaishnavas, the Vedantists, they all fight among themselves, saying, only my path is true. He said that is not good at all. And he had given the example of Pandit Padmalochan addressing that discussion going on between various Pandits of who is great, whether Shiva is great or Brahman is great. And when it came to Pandit Padmalochan to give his verdict upon who is the great, he clearly said, well, I have not talked to Brahman, I have not talked to Shiva, I don't know who is great. For me, both are equally great. So that kind of appreciation for the other faiths everyone must have, although one must have a steadfast and single-pointed devotion to one's own faith. Single-pointed devotion like the gopis had for their Krishna of the Vrindavan, their Krishna of the Vraja. They didn't know any other Krishna than the Krishna of Vraja. When the gopis went to Mathura and when they saw that Krishna, they were not very happy to see this finely dressed Krishna in the with garland and with the turban on his head and in the royal robes. No, they had a single pointed devotion to Krishna of the Vrindavan, of the shepherd Krishna, of the cowherd Krishna, of the Gopal Krishna. So when they saw, they had dedicated themselves to this Krishna who was bedecked with the garland of yellow wild flowers. No fancy garlands, no fancy turbans, just a garland of wild yellow flowers from the forests of Vrindavan, and wearing a peacock feather on his crest. So that was the kind of Krishna these gopis, they had dedicated themselves. They had that single pointed devotion to the Vraja Krishna, Braja Krishna, not the Krishna of Mathura. The moment they went to Mathura, they pulled their veils down looking at this Krishna bedecked with he was wearing turban and with the royal robes, such a smart and nicely dressed. No, this is not our Krishna, Gopi said. We won't talk to this man. How can we talk to this strange person? We want our Krishna of the Vrindavan. So that kind of the single pointed devotion, Sri Ramakrishna says, you should have for your faith. Don't get carried away by what other faiths say. But at the same time, don't hate those faiths. Don't harbor any malice towards those faiths and those paths. Because Sri Ramakrishna says, all paths lead to God. His constant teaching used to be, as many faiths, so many paths. And all paths lead to God. So that was his teaching. And now Sri Ramakrishna is visiting Calcutta, and he has been invited by Balram Bose, by some of his very close devotees, Balram Bose, Adhar, and Ramchandra Datta. So he is on his way from Dakshineshwar to Calcutta and sitting with his spiritual son, Rakhal. Then M is also there, some other devotees, and they are all going in a carriage to Balram's house. Now, while Sri Ramakrishna never loses any opportunity of talking and imparting the spiritual instructions to his innate circle, to his inner core circle, devotees, disciples. So as they are moving in the carriage, Sri Ramakrishna starts his talk with these youngsters. You see, Sri Ramakrishna says, you see, sin flies away when love of God grows in a man's heart. When the love of God grows in a man's heart, sins automatically start flying away. Like when we start chanting the name of uh, the Lord, clapping our hands, singing the glories, Sri Ramakrishna had said, the birds of sin, they fly away. And here again, Sri Ramakrishna is telling, don't get afraid of the sins that you have carried, because the moment you start following the path of spirituality, the moment you start devoting yourself to God, the moment you develop love for God, the sins, they just fly away, they just vanish. Even as the water of the reservoir dug in a meadow dries up under the heat of the sun. If we are digging up a reservoir, and there is some water which is accumulated, which in that reservoir which we are digging, what happens? As the sun rises, the heat of sun evaporates the water and your ground is all clear. Likewise, Sri Ramakrishna says, the moment the love for God ignites in your heart, all the sins, they start evaporating away like that water in the reservoir that we are digging in the meadow. But one cannot love God if one feels attracted to worldly things, to woman and gold. Till the time there is this attraction, there is this attachment to the worldly things, and by worldly things, Sri Ramakrishna mainly emphasizes woman and gold. Again and again, he emphasizes the Kama Kanchan. Although he says Kamini Kanchan, he implies Kama Kanchan, the lust and greed. Attachment to lust and greed, Sri Ramakrishna says, always keeps away from developing this love for God. Because our mind is attracted towards all those lowly things. How can we think of higher thing? How can we think of the Divine Mother when our mind and heart and all our thoughts, they are on that lowliest of the lowly ground? We have to take the mind up. We have to take the mind at the higher planes of the divine plane. So we have to detach ourselves from the things of the lust and greed, and then we get carried upwards to the love of God. And when that love of God ignites, then all the sins, they start flying away. Merely taking the vow of monastic life will not help a man if he is attached to the world. This is a strict instruction. This is a strict instruction for those who are contemplating on leading a monastic life. If one is contemplating on leading a monastic life, Sri Ramakrishna's clear-cut message is, get rid of all those attachment towards the things of lust and gold. Remaining attached to them, no one can turn monastic. No one can take, take the role of being a sannyasi. No one can renounce these worldly attachments till the time we have any kind of feeling, any kind of attraction towards these worldly objects. It is like swallowing your own spittle after spitting it out on the ground. So this is a clear-cut instruction to the monastics that Sri Ramakrishna has given. And why has he given? Is it because Rakhal was also there? Rakhal in future was to turn into that great monastic Swami Brahmananda. So possibly Sri Ramakrishna was already training his spiritual child that if one has to lead the monastic life, one has to strictly cut away from the attractions of the worldly things. If it doesn't happen, you are still attached to the world and you start leading a monastic life. It is like licking your own spittle once you have after spitting it on the ground. So Sri Ramakrishna says, never be such a lowly person. If you are a monastic, then renounce everything wholeheartedly. Renounce everything with the single pointed devotion to the Lord. Develop that love and all the sins will fly away. Then Sri Ramakrishna also comments Since recently there was a meeting, he had spent a lot of time with the Brahmos talking about, the worship of formless aspect of the God and God with form. Brahmos, they worship the formless aspect. So Sri Ramakrishna again continues, the same recollection of those that time spent with the Brahmo devotees. Sri Ramakrishna says, the members of the Brahmo Samaj do not accept God with form. They don't accept God with form. Even Narendra says that God with form is a mere idol. He says further, what? He is still going to Kali temple. He means Narendra referring to Sri Ramakrishna. That Sri Ramakrishna having attained the ultimate Satchidananda. Sri Ramakrishna having attained the Brahmajnana, Naren is wonderstruck. He is still going and visiting the Kali temple and offering his salutations to that image of Kali, that clay image of Kali. Naren was hardcore Advaitist. He was, of course, a follower of the Brahmo Samaj during his initial spiritual days, and he had inculcated those ideas of worshipping the formless aspect of the God. And he never even had any inclination, had any tendency to accept God with form. In fact, once Sri Ramakrishna, when Naren was going through a very dire circumstances after his father's death, the entire family, they were going through a very, very extremely bad time. And Naren, in his concern for his mother, for his brothers, for his sisters, he came to Sri Ramakrishna and then he said, told Sri Ramakrishna that you keep on talking about the Divine Mother, your Mother Kali, that clay image in the temple. Why don't you go and tell her to ease our situation, that we are in such a bad condition? Tell her to take care of Naren and his family. Sri Ramakrishna said, how can I go? You don't believe in my Mother Kali. Better you go and tell yourself. And Naren says, but I don't believe. He says, you go and tell. Whatever you ask from my Mother Kali, she's not a clay image. She is Chaitanya. She's not a Mrunmayi. She's Chinmayi. That's what Sri Ramakrishna used to tell everybody. Don't consider her to be a clay image. She is my mother filled with consciousness. So Sri Ramakrishna asked Naren, his most beloved Naren, you go and tell Mother Kali that you give me this, you give me money, you get rid of my poverty, you get rid of my dire circumstances. So this Guru and Chela, the Guru and Shishya, they go to the Kali temple. Sri Ramakrishna sits outside. Now Naren, he is a staunch believer of formless aspect. Still, at Sri Ramakrishna's bidding, he goes in the temple. He goes in the temple, looks at the image of Mother Kali and sees what? It is not clay image. It is the image filled with consciousness. And there is a great transformation in Naren. And instead of asking for the riches, instead of asking for money, instead of asking for a better job, what he asks? He asks, oh mother, seeing that conscious form of the mother, he has forgotten all his worldly needs. And his prayer is, oh mother, give me viveka, give me tyaga, give me renunciation, give me discrimination. That is Naren's begging to the mother who is filled with consciousness. Give me viveka, give me vairagya, give me jnana. That is the kind of transformation that took place in Naren when he saw the mother, the image of the mother, not the clay image, but the image filled with consciousness. And this happened not once. He came out. Sri Ramakrishna asked him, did you ask mother what you wanted? He said, no, I just forgot. You have played some trick. You have hypnotized me. You have done something. Then Sri Ramakrishna says, oh, you fool, go again. Naren went second time. And again, second time, this time with a great resolve that I will not ask mother for any of those things that I asked in my first begging, in my first prayer, but I will ask for my physical comforts, for my worldly comforts, for me and my family. Naren goes second time, and again the same thing. Give me vivek, give me vairagya. I mean, what is happening? Naren is feeling ashamed of himself to ask for any worldly enjoyments from this mother who is nothing but consciousness herself, who is nothing but Chaitanya herself. Again, he comes out the second time. Ramakrishna again asks him, so, did you ask what you wanted? Naren says, no, 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 Hagges, you are definitely doing some magic. How is it that the moment I enter the temple, I see that image, I forget what I am asking, what I want to ask? Sri Ramakrishna says, go third time. Again ask. Naren again goes third time in the temple. And nothing but the same repetition of the first two prayers that he begged from the mother. Give me discrimination, give me knowledge, give me renunciation. That's it. And then he comes back and he just falls at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. He says, now you do something. And Sri Ramakrishna, he starts patting his beloved child and said, don't worry, my mother knows what you want. And you and your family will never be deprived of the coarse, of the plain food and coarse clothing. It is not that you will come on the road, you will be in the dire circumstances. My mother will take care. And then slowly there was a transformation. Though at one point of time, Swami Vivekananda Naren, he used to ridicule Sri Ramakrishna. What? He still goes to that Kali temple. He still go and visits the Mother Kali in the temple. That was how he used to ridicule Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna actually pointed out before his beloved children here that Naren, he further says that what? He still goes to the Kali temple. So that was what Naren at one point of time. And then there was a Naren who even considered our Ma as the living Durga. So that was the great amount of transformation. Once upon a time, a strict non-believer of the God with form, who believed only in the formless aspect. He was totally changed as Sri Ramakrishna started taking him forward on the spiritual journey. And then he had to believe, yes, God formless aspect is there, God with form is there. And not only with form in single form, they are in so many varied forms as per the choice of the devotees. So that was a wonderful ride taking place from Dakshineshwar to Balaram Bose's house, and Sri Ramakrishna again imparting those spiritual instructions to his close and inner circle devotees. Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaaya. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Thakur, Jai Ma, Jai Swamiji.